Right now. Hello, brand new Dylan live from San Diego. Though one day MJ Connett and I should be out there to do our show live from San Diego. We're just not doing it this year.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, this is the final day of San Diego Comic-Con, and it's the biggest San Diego. Well, it used to be the biggest comic book convention, but once pop culture started taking it over, it became the biggest basic pop culture convention, even though it's still called Comic-Con.
Right.
And the funny thing I realized about it is that a lot of the news and announcements that came out of San Diego this week or this year have been more along the lines of the movies and TV shows, and not really a lot with the books themselves.
Right.
There's, that used to be all it was they would save their, like when DC announced Rebirth, they would wait till San Diego and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're doing Rebirth, and it's going to be all these people and all this stuff's going to happen. But now they just do it. Well, people are going to find out about it eventually. So let's just reveal it now, which I guess is good, I suppose. But it just goes to show you that pop culture is now taking over San Diego Comic-Con and is kind of shifting the balance a little bit towards more of the comic. Because the one that really got me going is, why the hell would Oliver Stone show Snowden at Comic-Con? It's not a pop culture movie.
It made no sense. No sense whatsoever. And for Oliver Stone, I'm like, he's not like one of my more favorite directors anyway. And it's not like he's that tied to pop culture or, nerd history or anything. So I'm like, why is he even there? So
it's just disappointing. I mean, that's kind of why I still love my Baltimore Comic-Con, because I'm a homer, but also because it's more comic book oriented. They have been easing a little bit into more pop culture stuff, but I think the main reason why they're doing it this year on Sunday, it's a 3-day, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in September. This year on Sunday, they're going to have Haley Atwell at Baltimore Comic-Con just for that one day. That's all. She'll do a meet and greet, probably do a panel or something, maybe do some signing. But I think it's to boost the attendance on Sunday, because Saturday's insane, man. I mean, you go, it's not going to give San Diego or New York a run for the money because they're bigger. But I mean, there's a ton of people there. It is crazy busy, which is good. It's fantastic. And Friday, actually, they were surprised. Last year was the first year they did a Friday, and they were really surprised about how good the attendance was on that Friday. So they're doing it again. And then Sunday it dies. So
everybody's leaving, getting ready to go.
Yeah. And also usually around the time when they do it, it's also the football season, and we're all rabid Ravens fans, and they usually play a home game that day. So a lot of people want to stay home and watch the Ravens play, or it's so crowded they're all over at Ravens Stadium, which is right next to the convention center. So we'll see. But we'll be talking comics. We'll be talking lots of San Diego Comic-Con. There's been a lot of stuff got revealed. I mean, even though it's all more videos, more movies and TVs, I mean, as we've said before, we're in a golden age of comic book movies and television shows. And there's a ton of cool stuff coming out on all the various shows. We'll also maybe do some discussing of the Killing Joke controversy. That is, again, a new controversy that's rearing its head with the Killing Joke. And we'll talk maybe a little Star Trek Beyond as well, which came out this week. I think they're zeroing in on 60 mil weekend, which is it's respectable, but it's not 100 mil anymore. And I guess, I don't know, is that to say that the Star Trek fans aren't coming out and maybe not embracing the new series as much? I don't know. It's still respectable, and they seem happy with it, so it's fine. And then we're going to go off topic to begin the show with. And we'll talk some Rebirth, DC Rebirth also. We're going to get off topic a little bit with comics. MJ and I are part of a group called the Snark Alex, and we came together when we started snarking on the really bad sci-fi movies that they used to have. Like almost every Saturday night, we'd come together, and gradually our team built so that we have 100+ people now in the Snark Alex, and we would all go and we would trend the movie, just us. We've done that before. Where it was just us trending a movie, sci-fi, but then sci-fi starting to shift their focus now more on their TV series, which is fine because they've got really good TV series, but at the expense of the of the original movies that they used to do. So now they tend to just focus on their big tamale, which is Sharknado, and I don't see that series ever ending, to be honest.
It doesn't matter how old those actors get, no matter what, they will drag them out and do another Sharknado, and they'll be happy to do it.
Exactly. And so that being said, Sharknado 4 comes out next Sunday, July 31st at an 8 o'clock time, which I hate because that's kiddie bedtime. So, and all my kids will be back in the house at that time. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. But what they've been doing, though, is they've been doing a week of sci-fi. Well, not all sci-fi original movies. They've been getting some Asylum and other movies as well. And they've been having what we've called Sharknado Week or Snark Week, where they're going to have they have a new movie on at 9 o'clock every day of the week leading up to Sharknado. Now, last year they did it, and because the Snark Galaxy also have a bunch of different shows. We got my show, Dylan Knows. Kelly Toole's got Nurture and Support and Squat Cobbler. Tony Solo and I do the Snooze. Young Jeans does Bring Out Your Geek, stuff like that. We are deciding that last year we were going to do like an after show. We're going to watch the movie, we'll snark the movie, and then after the movie's over, some of these shows, each show will do one of their own, after shows where it would be like a Dylan Knows after show of, like last year I did Zombie Shark. And I also interviewed the director, Chris Olin Ray of Three-Headed Shark Attack on last Monday. So last Monday, and then Tuesday was Zombie Shark. So I did an after show on those. And then Nurture and Support did one for the Sharktopus movie. And then Young Jeans and Bring Out Your Geek did Lavalantula, which actually is not a part of Snark Week this year, but it will be. The sequel to Lavalantula will be coming out on Saturday, August 6th at 9 o'clock. So we actually do have another one on August 6th. So that'll be good. And we're trying to figure out if we're going to do an after show for that right now. But we do have, so since they're doing it again this year, Tony Solo and I, along with all the other crews have do the shows, have set a schedule for after shows. And right now, breaking news, this is what we're doing. Snark Week starts today. So everybody get your pencils ready and write this down. 9 o'clock tonight is Atomic Sharks. Obviously, nuclear powered sharks or sharks that become nuclear powered, whatever. So we're going to snark the hell out of that because Game of Thrones is gone, Walking Dead's gone, Fear the Walking Dead is on. Preacher's still on, but you can always catch that. Catch that some other time. So that's at 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. However, there's also another one on from 11 to 1:30 called Dark Tide, I think. And for those who have DVRs, DVR that one. And what we'll do is there's no movies on Thursday or Friday. No, I'm sorry, Friday or Saturday. With Dark Tide, we may either do it on Saturday. We know a lot of people do the Friday sci-fi shows, but on Saturday we may do Dark Tide. There's another one I'm going to talk about in a few minutes that we might do. So we might hold one of those for another Saturday, like in August. Like, you know what? Why don't we do this and we can snark it ourselves? So DVR Dark Tide at 11 o'clock tonight after Atomic Sharks. DVR and don't watch it because at 11 o'clock after myself, Tony Solo, and official Pagan Mike are going to be doing the first after show. So it's only going to be about maybe half an hour because it is 11 o'clock at night. So after 11 o'clock at night, Sunday is the last ship. So I don't know what Tony's going to do. But everybody else who wants to watch the shark films, go ahead and we'll tweet them out, and then we'll figure it out. So that's tonight. Tomorrow is Damn Sharks, which is awesome. And like the story behind it is the sharks are using humans as a dam, and I just got to see that one. I just have to see what that's going to be like. So that's from 9 to 11 again on Sci-Fi. And after that, the after show for that is Nurture and Support with Kelly Toole and Mel. And maybe Young Jeans might be on there, or someone else might pop up. Maybe Mike again. I don't know. Or maybe it's just going to be Kelly and Mel. I don't know. So Nurture and Support will be doing their after show on Monday for Damn Sharks. Tuesday is Ice Sharks. And I will be, that's from 9 to 11 again on Sci-Fi. So obviously it's sharks that are not susceptible to ice. And so there's people at, like, say, Antarctica base or whatever, and the sharks are attacking them at the Antarctic base. So we have that situation. I will be doing the after show for that. Dylan knows. I'm trying to line up a bunch of people to come on after that. So if you're interested, let me know. And again, it'll only be about half an hour. We're just going to discuss the movie, and that's going to be it. Wednesday. Here's another one. Wednesday at 3 p.m. Is Shark Killer. And it's about a guy who hunts sharks and dives and hunts sharks, stuff like that. DVR that one. And again, that'll be one we can do next Saturday or this upcoming Saturday or sometime down the line. We'll DVR that one, and we'll probably do an after show on that one. But Shark Killer at 3 o'clock. If you have DVR capabilities, do that. DVR it and we'll take care of that. And we'll do that. We'll have a discussion. We'll figure out the best time for everybody to get together and do it, and we'll snark that. So it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, really Sci-Fi? Couldn't you maybe do it?
No sense at all.
Maybe you could do it. You could have done it on Saturday, because what they're doing Saturday is they're just rerunning like all the Sharknadoes. So I know, Tony. I'm going to get to that in a second. And I better get to it now because I've just been telling you what we're going to be watching. But as in the old days, Tweet of the Night is in effect. So if you think one of the Snark Alex did a very funny tweet or a hilarious tweet or a tweet you just thought was fantastic, hashtag it TWOTN, which is Tweet of the Night. And then when we do the after shows, we'll do our look to see who had the best tweet of the night or whatever, and we'll read them, or we'll read a bunch of them and get people's opinions on what we think is the best. So that's always something we do for the after shows also. So get your funny bone on also, or your snarkisms on there also, and see if you can get on the tweet of the night again, because it's been so long since we've been able to do this.
Yeah,
almost a full year. Yeah, almost a full year almost. So Shark Killer at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Wednesday night at 9 o'clock is a movie that I am unfortunately going to miss. Dawn Snarks and I are going to be going to the Orioles game. She won tickets at her work, and we can't miss it because we're right behind home plate.
Oh, wow.
And we got parking passes, and it's like McCormick's like special seats. So I'm excited for that. And we will have no kids, so that's fantastic. My son is going to be at my mom's house, and Noelle's going to be at her camp. So that one is Planet of the Sharks, which is basically what if Waterworld had killer sharks on it. The world is now full of water, and sharks are like the rulers. So and the humans are the lesser species. So that one just awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna DVR that one myself and watch that later. And then the after show for that, Tony Solo is going to be doing it probably with the McGevnas and maybe some other people if he can get as well. So again, that's the after show on Wednesday. Thursday is Ozark Sharks from 9 to 11. Redneck shark hunters hunting sharks. And Tony and I will, that's 9 to 11 on Sci-Fi. Tony and I will be doing a special episode of the Snooze after show on that Thursday for Ozark Sharks. Now, Friday, they're not going to do anything because that's their night for their shows, Dark Matter and Killjoys. Yeah, so they'll be doing those. And then Saturday is they're going to be rerunning all the Sharknadoes again to lead up to the Sunday premiere on the 31st. Now, the 31st, next Sunday, Sharknado 4, the Fourth Awakens, I guess, is what the making fun of Star Wars. They are going to start that at 8 o'clock on Sci-Fi, and I don't know if it's 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So it's either going to be 8 to 10 or 8 to 10:30. I'm not sure, or it could be even 8 to 11. I don't know. I got to check, but I think it's probably going to be within the 8 to 10 range.
Yeah. They'll throw in a lot of commercials, though, extra for that. So
yeah, they do something like that. Yeah. So after that is going to be a one-time only, one-off reunion of the Snark Alec Radio crew. So it'll be an episode of Snark Alec Radio, which they haven't done since the Pope came to visit Philadelphia last year. So you'll have Mike and Kelly and Tony all together, and there might be a couple other special guests. We'll see. But Snark Alec Radio will be back one night only, the 31st, discussing Sharknado 4, and that'll be the end of Snarkweek. And then, as I said, we'll work out either Dark Tide or Shark Killer that Saturday because we're probably not going to want to watch the Sharknado since we've already seen them, and these aren't ones we've seen, and we can just snark it our own way. So we'll see. That's what they should have done. They should have put Shark Killer on Saturday.
Yeah. 3 o'clock. I don't even know how they think somebody's going to watch that live.
Well, it's just basically because they're doing all their shark movies. So if you're on vacation or you're home and you're not working or whatever, and you want to watch the shark movies, I think even starting today, they're doing all the shark movies and Lake Placids and all the the fish creatures. So from every day from now till Thursday or Friday. So there'll probably be a lot of replays and stuff like that. So if you miss, say, Shark Killer, you miss DVRing it at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, they'll probably re-air it Thursday or Friday, at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 10 a.m.
Much better.
So again, that's Snarkweek for you. We will have after shows for that, for each of the ones, and special guests and stuff like that. Again, they'll only be about maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Last year's were only about that long. Also, just a discussion of the movie and tweet of the nights, which is in effect. So get your wine, get your beer, get your food, get your brain on, your tweeting on, and come join the Snark Alex. We're going to take over Twitter for the next week. Screw the DNC. They should have done the Republican National Convention this week, and we would have kicked their ass.
Talk about a shark fest, yes.
But yes, all week this week, except for Thursday or except Friday and Saturday, shark movies galore. Come snark with us, Snark Alex, who haven't snarked with us in a while. Please come out, come
join the.
We want to trend the sucker again, so we can show to sci-fi. Hey, look. You put more movies on Saturday, we'll be able to do it. Tony Solo said, the unemployed, vacationing, and zombies will be watching the 10 a.m. airing of Shark Killer on Tuesday. So that's the Snarkweek schedule. So I'm going to keep Tony and I and everybody are going to keep jumping out there. We'll do the countdown. We'll get everybody prepped. As I said, get everything prepped that you usually do. And we're going to have a blast tonight. I think it's going to be, tonight of all of them is probably going to be the best one since it's the first one we've done in a while. Or maybe it's the rusty one. Maybe that's the one we'll get out of the way, and then we'll hit our groove later on in the week.
I don't remember how to do this.
So for all you people who are expecting to watch comic books talk, we're getting ready to do comic book talk now. But come join us. Basically they're live action comic books. Basically these shark movies are live action comic books. A lot more gore.
Just fun.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is. And one last thing from Tony Solo, come snark with us. Yes, and that should be our phrase. Come snark with us tonight. Snark Week begins 9 o'clock. Atomic Sharks. All week. So we'll be releasing, as I said, we'll get people excited for it, and we'll redo. Maybe I'll send another tweet out saying these are the days we're going to be, what movies are on at what time and what you need to do. So for those who didn't watch the show, so
you'll still hear about it.
Exactly. On that note, thank you all for bearing with us. This is a very big deal for us. Our Snark Out group is, this was what brought us together, and the fact that we're going to be able to have a full week where we're going to be able to all interact again, which really hasn't happened in a while. I mean, we had Snark Stock last month, but only a small portion of us were interacting there. Including MJ and I actually met face to face the first time, which was really cool, and had a lot of fun despite the heat.
That heat was just a warm up.
Yeah, for what's going on this week, absolutely. So there's that, and as I said, also after this week, don't forget Snark Alex. Also, August 6th, I believe is next Saturday. Is not the 30th. It's like 2 weeks from now. August 6th will be the sequel to Lava Lantula. So To Lava, To Lantula. And again, it's Steve Gutenberg, Michael Winslow, and the other female from Police Academy are back again. And they'll have new people on, and it'll be a whole new stuff like that. So there is going to be another one after Snark Week. So that'll be fun, and then we'll probably have a drought till Halloween because they tend to do another one in October where they try to do more of the horror-esque, scary ones that we do. Yep, there you go. And Tony just put out the site, the Snark Alex website. The schedule and everything we talked about is up there as well, so we'll retweet that out to everybody. And as I said, come check it out. You'll if you forget or whatever, I'm sure when 9 o'clock rolls around, you'll start saying, "What the hell? What's MJ writing about now? What is this atomic shark shit? What?"
You will not forget, trust me.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say. And as Myrna would say, "What the shark shit?"
Yeah, I may have to start early today, you know, just getting everybody, just pre-warning everybody, hey, you know, 9 o'clock, yes, it'll be a little different, but, you know, just got to go with it.
I'm gonna screw my Facebook friends because I have my Twitter connected to it. They're gonna be like, "What the hell is this? What's Dylan doing? He doesn't do all that much on Facebook." All of a sudden, what the hell is Atomic Shark? What the shark shit?
Why are we not part of this?
So everyone, all Snark Alex, you have been informed. We've got links out to you. We'll keep retweeting the shit out of it, and we're gonna get everybody to. We want to have a big force of Snark Alex who can do it. If you can't do it today because you've got other things going on, that's fine. Remember, we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then next Sunday also. So we got a bunch of time coming up. So if you can't make today, don't worry, we got plenty of other times. As I said, I'm going to be missing Wednesdays. Dawn and I are going to be missing Wednesdays, and there might be a few that might be missing tonights, and some missing other ones as well because of various things. I think I don't know if Kelly's going to be able to make Tuesdays. He has a prior engagement, I think, so that's another one. So, and you got to watch out for Kelly Toole also because he hasn't had a chance to do his puns in a while. So he's probably aching and itching to do some of those. So he might win Tweet of the Night tonight. We'll see because he's got some good ones. So here's to you, Snark Alex.
Let's go. Yes.
Let's snark this bitch. All right. Now that I got all that out of the way, I'm going to lose all my viewers now because they're probably all Snark Alex who are waiting for the schedule. They're like, oh, hell, now they're going to talk about comic books. Damn it.
Good God. We're out of here.
As MJ and I said this week, it was actually it worked out because our usual slot is the beginning of July or beginning of the month. And because it was July 4th weekend, we both had prior engagements, so we couldn't do a show. So it actually made more sense for us to do it this week because San Diego, as I said at the beginning of the show, is one of the biggest comic conventions and getting a lot of info about that. So there still might be some more news coming out of San Diego today because today is their last day, and I'm always gonna hate myself for this, but I was working at Diamond Comics, which is the only distributor of comic books back in the early part of 2000, and I got a promotion, but I got another job within the company as a brand manager, and they're the guys that we talk to independent comics and we get them in and we're their helpers and stuff like that. If I would have stayed as a brand manager, that next year, like 2006, would have been my turn at San Diego, or 2007. I'm sorry, 2007 would have been my turn at San Diego. So, but it got to be too much for me, and I quit before I could get to San Diego. So Dawn and I tried to go back for our 10-year anniversary about 3 years ago. We just couldn't get the money because it's really hard now. I mean, there is a Snark out, Con Sweet Con Nicole, who you met at Snark Stock NJ. They are the ones, I think, of all the Snark outs, are the only ones who've been able to go consistently. They go every year, and they're able. And the way they do it now is you've got to win like a lottery, and you've got to, and the hotels are, they know they're expecting all these people, so the hotels jack their prices up into insane amounts. So it's just insane what you have to go through to get tickets to San Diego nowadays. So, and it's so freaking big that it would take you a full day just to walk the entire con.
Oh,
just
you got to know what you want to see.
Exactly. Just
plan
once.
It out and go there.
Exactly. Just once. It would take the entire day to walk the entire con. So that's a ton of stuff. So that being said, it is the time where they release a lot of their pop culture and comic book stuff. As I mentioned also earlier, there's not as much comic book books that were revealed this time around. It's been more along the lines of new trailers and new footage for a lot of the upcoming superhero movies and TV shows and stuff like that. We'll just start with one of the comic ones real quick because there are so few of them. Looks like and we'll have to save this discussion for maybe next month. Another big giant crossover by Marvel that's going to change everything. But this time it's going to focus on a smaller group. It's going to be Inhumans versus X-Men. So there's going to be an all-out war between the two of those in comics, I think, starting this fall. So after Civil War II, it's going to spill out into a war between mutants and Inhumans, which is actually kind of funny because that was always the rumor about, the MCU doesn't have the rights to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, doesn't have the rights to the X-Men.
Right.
So they were going to do this Inhumans movie to make it their mutants. But now they've jacked Inhumans out of the schedule. So we all know what's going to happen now.
Right. Either they're going to get the rights back or they're going to just, fold the whole mutant thing when it comes to the MCU and just act like they don't exist, which would suck because, the movies that they are moving forward and going with, the X-Men are tied to them. So they just, I don't know, Disney just needs to open their pockets up, write a check, and get those rights back. I mean, how hard can it be? My God, George Lucas, you can afford some mutants. So,
I know, but Fox might be asking for a lot, though. That's the thing. I don't know.
Or they could just be being dicks and like, no, you can't have them. So we don't need your money that bad. So.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to become like Sony, who gave up Spider-Man for nothing, so... that reminds me, this is something that wasn't on my list, but Civil War comes out on DVD on September 13th. So pick that up if you haven't seen it yet. It's well worth it for that.
Oh, definitely.
So let's see. Let's start at the top then. This might be of interest to our Snarkweek friends who might still be watching. They revealed the 7th season trailer for Walking Dead. It was like about a 3-minute trailer. Obviously, they weren't going to show who got killed, and they weren't going to allude to who survived either. So they focused a lot more on Carol and Morgan and the Kingdom, as well as what's her name, the lesbian one who was a part of the governor's crew.
Right. Yeah.
I forget her name. We find out what's going on with her. That actually looks like a really good episode when it was the one that's going to focus on her. And they had some little like shadowy things with some of the regular characters. So you kind of know who's not going to die. Rick's not going to die. Carl's not going to die. Michonne's not going to die. But as for the rest, anyone it's up for grabs. Absolutely. But the one really interesting thing is they showed Ezekiel, who those who know the Walking Dead comic is the leader of the Kingdom. And they showed Shiva, which is his tiger. So Shiva will be a part of the Walking Dead.
I'm very surprised. I didn't think they would do that, but hey, spend that money. Go ahead.
But what I think is really cool, though, and I just discovered this also, the actor who's playing Ezekiel is actually the voice of Cyborg on Teen Titans Go, and he's done a bunch of like the Cyborg. So it's gonna be so weird hearing his voice coming out of
seeing his face.
It's that Cyborg. It's not him. But so that was kind of cool. And let's see, anything else that not a lot really jumped out. It's just a lot of interesting things. Carol seems to have made a recovery, so she's going to be okay. And she has like this exasperated, like, I have no idea what's going on. It was a really funny line. It was just kind of cool.
And we're like, we don't either. We're with you on that.
And Morgan's going to get a little bit more involved in the Kingdom as well. So that's kind of good to see him getting involved as well. So, because we know those two aren't dead because they're in the Kingdom. They're not with Negan and his crew. We did see more of what's going on with Negan. We saw people, bowing down to him like he's a king or whatever, and him doing the law, and then some more shots at Dwight saying things as well. So, and then there's some Jesus sightings as well. So there's obviously we're gonna get a lot more of all of them, and it looks like we are going to be doing the tour of Negan's factory. But the rumor now is we don't know who it's going to be, because in the comics, Carl was the one who got the tour from Negan, and it goes to show that Negan's not entirely all bad, the way he treats Carl. He's kind of a dick to him at some times, but then there are other times where he's not, so it's kind of a almost schizophrenic way he deals with them. But now the rumor is that maybe possibly that Daryl survives and he might be the one that gets the tour instead. So, we'll have to wait and see. I don't like that idea. I like the idea of Negan playing off of Carl and all the stuff that happened with that. So as I said, you're going to get lots of rumors, as you always do when it comes to Walking Dead. I think they have the date of the October 23rd or 21st, something like that. So it's like later in October when the new season begins. So no, that's fine. I mean,
well, Fear the Walking Dead, I didn't realize that's coming back in August. So they're probably going to finish that out, and then they'll start The Walking Dead. That'll be the lead up to it.
Yeah, and they showed a trailer for that. It looks like going to get a bit more gruesome and more dark and more along the lines of maybe what we're used to than what we've been watching up to that point. So, we'll see. That looks good. So they released both of those trailers, so that looks good for everybody. Now, jeez. So, DC Comics Cinematic Universe surprised everybody and released 2 trailers.
Yes.
One really, 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 really good one.
And
one I'm kind of, really? And I'll tell you why I feel that way. We'll talk about the really, really good one, though. My God, Wonder Woman looks fucking awesome.
Yes. And I wasn't sure about it being set in World War I, but it looks amazing. I cannot wait.
Oh, I cannot wait. It looked so good. Oh, and I was like, wow. And they actually did it. And Chris Pine looks like, he's easing back on the snarkiness a little bit,
right.
And acting a bit more like how he's supposed to be. Oh my God. And it was just, Gal Gadot looked fabulous.
She does.
As Wonder Woman.
Amazing. Yep.
Oh, geez.
Better than in Superman and Batman. So.
And then, and you also got a little bit of humor, but not a lot. And I just love the last scene is, when Etta Candy introduces herself and it says, "What do you do?" It's like, I do everything he says. And she goes, "I thought that's like what slavery was about."
Where I come from, we call that slavery.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, well," and then Steve Trevor's like, "Oh, no, we're not going to talk about that right now." So it didn't really show like that they're going to go all out humor, which is, if you look at the Avengers and all that, they don't go all out humor. Yes, they have a lot of humor, but they don't go all out humor. And that was my issue with the Justice League trailer. Now, they look like they're trying really, really hard to be, everybody had said, "Oh, you're too dark. Okay, let's try to lighten up." But now they went a little too far, in my opinion, to the light. But it could still work. But what really galls me are a couple of things. One, why the hell is Bruce Wayne revealing his identity to everybody?
Yes.
To Aquaman, to the Flash.
Right. He's just walking around. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah. If you would just go in and say, "You know what? I'm Bruce Wayne.
That might be better.
Cool. Yeah. I'm Bruce Wayne. Batman is in Gotham, and I've become, I think he's doing a really good job. And I think that what we need to do is we need to have like a superhero group as well. And I'd be willing to pay for it all, just keep my name out of it, but I will bankroll you guys, like that. But then, he can still use the Batman and him are separate, and it's like maybe we can get Batman to come in or whatever, or I come from Batman. Batman doesn't like to interact with other people, so he sent me as an emissary saying, "Hey, can we get this team together, because he can make up some sort of like Batman saved my family's life, or not my family's life, but saved my life, or whatever, helping clean up my city or something like that." Instead, he comes right out to the Flash and throws the Batarang at him.
Which is like, okay, well, that's his calling card. It's like, here, this is who I am.
And then also, yes, he's got his beard when he's talking to Aquaman, but you know who it is. And he's in front of a bunch of people too. Now they know he's Batman. Come on, man. Really? Now I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe they are going to go the way I thought it. But the Batarang, the Flash, basically said, "I'm Batman."
Yeah. He knew.
And that brings me to something else too. This Barry Allen is Peter Parker. He's Peter Parker. That's not Barry Allen.
No, he doesn't have friends. He's not like begging for friends or social interaction. That's just not Barry Allen. And not only that, but I got the feeling that why didn't they just go with the TV show Flash? Because he's trying to act like that actor does, who does an amazing job as a Flash. But if they're just going to mimic him, why not go with that actor then?
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then with the whole thing with Bruce Wayne going around and recruiting everybody, it reminds me of him being Tony Stark now. And I hate to be nitpicky, but come on, man. It's good. Yes, you look like you're getting a little more humorous. Yes, Wonder Woman has a little bit more color in her, and the shot of Aquaman walking into the giant wave was really cool. I'll admit that, but I'm still not a fan of the actor playing Aquaman. I don't like the way that he's doing Aquaman, and I don't like the fact that Bruce Wayne is just revealing to everybody that I'm Batman, and also that the Flash is being played as more of a teenage Peter Parker instead of an actual CSI guy, police officer. Even if it's a rookie. I mean, when you're a rookie, you're not as young as he is in this movie. You're a rookie in your 20s. You got to go through police academy and all that stuff. So, again, we'll give it. I'll give it a little bit of time. We'll see, but of course, you know, they're throwing some of the humor in, and some of it seems genuine, but a lot of it also seems forced to me. But again, they're just showing bits and pieces, and we're not seeing the whole thing.
But you know, they made that mistake with Batman versus Superman. They just started off too early, showing little bits and pieces, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's going to get better." And it never got better, and little bits and pieces never got better. So you think they would learn? Just wait until you've got something really that's going to like blow you away. Just throw a few seconds of it, and just let us see that instead of this little nitpicky stuff, just to say, "Hey, look, we're still doing something."
Because what surprised me the most is when the lead up to the Avengers, they showed, you know, subtle things here and there, but when they did like the final trailer, I think that's when they showed that still one of my absolute favorite shots in any movie, the spin shot of all the Avengers together.
Yes.
Do something like that. I mean, look, you're going to have one of those type of shots. I'm okay with that because it gets us fans in a visceral level. Just as long as you don't imitate it as a spin thing, maybe do it sort of like as, you know, all in line, like one comes, you know, like a Superman comes up and then Batman and then all of them bad guys or whatever, just so that you see them working together as a team, or even just having bits and pieces of them, you know, have a couple people over here working as a team and then over here as a team and then here's a team, and then gradually they're getting pushed together and then they're surrounded by bad guys and they're all like sort of just re-energize themselves, okay, let's go get them, and then they just shoot back out again. Now that would be a really cool shot if they can do something like that.
Right.
But you need to have that hero thing. But they showed that in the Avengers trailer, and that's something that you're like, whoa, I got to see this now. Granted, it would have been better maybe if it was a surprise, but nowadays you really can't keep anything under wraps anymore.
No.
I mean, they're still doing a pretty good job of keeping who was killed in Walking Dead down, but people are nitpicking everything to see, you know, what actors aren't there and stuff like that. It's like, come on, just go with it, man. Just go with it, you know. So we'll see. I'm.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's still Zack Snyder's a person, but you know, the Superman. Why did they give it back to him again? And now I guess he's listening to Ben Affleck and taking his direction on how he thinks it should go. And I'm like, good Lord. It's just, you know, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. But to be fair, Wonder Woman looks fantastic, and I'm dying to see that. So I'd love to see that. But if you don't want to see the Ben Affleck Batman, a really good Batman to watch is Lego Batman. Have you seen the Lego movie?
I've not seen the Lego one.
The Lego movie.
I think about it, I'm like, all right, I'll see it at some point when I'll catch it when it's on, but I just haven't made the effort to go see it.
Right. No, but the Lego movie, you know, introduced Will Arnett as Batman and as a rock star and as a snarky type of guy, and that fits for the Lego world. So because he was so popular, they're gonna release a Lego Batman movie. It's coming out like February or something like that of next year. And they revealed the first trailer, and oh my God, I laughed my ass off. It is so funny. Because you're not expecting a dark and gritty Batman, even though Will Arnett is trying. And he's got a better bat voice than Ben Affleck does.
He does have a good bat voice. It's just normally just like dark and marbly, and he doesn't have to try to do it. So.
And then you got Ray Fiennes as Alfred, which is fantastic. And then you've got Rosario Dawson as Robin, trying to do a young male's voice, but hasn't entered puberty yet, and it actually works. It actually works really good. And then you got the Joker, and you see him team up with some of the other members of the Justice League. So it's like, that's the Justice League movie I want to see. But it is. If you get a second, MJ, you got it. It's going to make you laugh and smile. It is so funny, with his reaction to Robin and stuff like that. It's just great. And Ray Fiennes is absolutely it's like perfect as Alfred. It's so great. He's got that very Alfred-y type of voice. I almost thought it was Michael Caine again, but it isn't. It's Ray Fiennes. So I like that too. Now switching to DC's TV.
Yeah.
Wow. The CW is really going absolutely crazy, and they're doing a really good job, I think. They've got some really neat stuff coming up. We'll start with their newbie, Supergirl.
Right.
It looks like that they're going to start teasing the Legion of Superheroes, because the rumor now is one of the actors that they cast in it is going to play Valor, who is Ultra Boy or whatever from the Legion,
right.
and Valor was his counterpart who came or was in present day and then was somehow got transported to the future or something like that, or he's a descendant or something like that. But it's basically he's Superman. He's a Daxamite, I think. He's basically Superman, but his weakness is lead and not kryptonite.
Which he's not quite bulletproof then.
Yeah, exactly.
A horrible way to find out that your weakness is lead.
So now I'm wondering if maybe he's the one who's in that space coffin. That happened at the end of the Supergirl's first season. So we'll see about that. But as I said, that's the rumor. It is a new male that's coming in, and the rumor appears to be Valor would probably work good because Superman is also going to be in Supergirl, as he's already been cast. We already know that. And there's also rumors that there possibly might be a Green Lantern or Batman sighting, but that might be in some of the other ones. Then we roll to Arrow. Arrow is actually digging up some kind of obscure characters, which I know you might know also. I don't know, but they've got an actor who's going to play Wild Dog. You ever heard of Wild Dog?
I have not heard of Wild Dog. No.
Oh, I'll talk about him in a second. And then, have you heard of Vigilante?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Vigilante I've heard of. Yeah.
Vigilante is going to be in it also, and this is the coolest thing: Ragman. Ragman's so cool.
Why does that sound familiar? Was that one of Batgirl's enemies?
Or no, he's a hero. He's a hero. He's a superhero. His cloak that he wears, he's completely covered in this rags. But what his power is he goes after bad guys, and when he beats them, he steals their soul, and it goes into his rags. And so that's how he imprisons the bad guys. He steals their souls and it goes into his rags. And he's got one of the craziest costumes you've ever seen. So he's going to be in there as well. Wild Dog is a character that I think Max Allan Collins created. And I think Terry Beatty, who was an artist from back in the 80s, like the late 80s, I think. It was like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries. And basically it's the character of Wild Dog wears like a Jason style hockey mask, and he's got a jersey with a big red dog on it. And it's basically like maybe from the local college or whatever. It's like a jersey from that. And he's got some other stuff as well. He's basically the Punisher. But the big thing about Wild Dog is you don't know who he is. So it's one of those things that you don't know. He doesn't. You try to figure out his secret identity. Whenever they were going to do the reveal at the end of the miniseries, so whenever he took off his mask or whatever, his face was always in shadow, and you couldn't tell if he was male or female because he had like multiple layers on. So you would see them take off multiple layers. So they would throw in those red herrings, like, oh my, he's got a bulletproof vest, and he's got a regular shirt, and he's got a jersey. Is that to flatten the breasts? So it's not a woman. You
don't know,
that
right?
Type of thing. So that's interesting. So they seem to be doing a bit more on the street level heroes with Arrow, which makes absolute sense. And I think they said Kate Cassidy's coming back as Black Canary, so she'll be back as a regular, I think, as well. So Arrow looks like it's going to be really, really interesting. Legends of Tomorrow is doing the JSA.
Right.
They've already announced that. They're going to have the rumors are you're going to have Dr. Midnight and Star Spangled Girl are the two that they showed pictures of. They'll probably show others as the time progresses. They're also going to be introducing the Legion of Doom. Captain Cold and a few other of the baddies are going to be popping up there as well. So you've got all those together. So that should be really interesting as well. And then, of course, the Flash is doing what we all thought he was going to do because of what happened at the end of the season. They're doing Flashpoint, and they showed the first trailer, and it looks amazing. I mean, granted, everyone's going to say the Flash is the bad guy in it because of what he did. He changed everything, but Dr. Alchemy is going to be one of his rogues is going to be one of the bad guys also. So that's going to be interesting to see that. So they look like they're jumping in full throttle with the CW, and you got to give them props for that. Let me see. Is there anything else DC related before I get into the Marvel stuff? Because Marvel had a ton of stuff also. Another comic thing. The Wildstorm universe, the Authority and all those, they are going to be reappearing in Rebirth. Just probably not till maybe later on in the fall, whatever. They already have a Midnighter and Apollo comic coming out, but they're going to have other Wildstorm characters coming in to the new Rebirth era over the next couple months. So that's what Jim Lee said. So he's going to be working on that as well. So let me see. I think the rest might be. Justice League Dark, there was a rumor that they were going to try to do a live action movie. Well, now they're doing an animated one via DC,
Oh, okay.
so that
Yeah,
could
because I
work.
thought that originally Guillermo del Toro was tied to the live action, so that could be good.
Yeah, something came up, but they are actually going to be doing an animated version of it. And let me just see if there's anything else that is not. No, I think that's all it's all my DC related stuff. Now, not to be outdone, Marvel went absolutely crazy as well. Their biggest announcement is a cheering on our end, well, my end anyway. I think you'll like it. Brie Larson is Captain Marvel.
Yes. Yep.
Not Ronda Rousey. Yes.
I'm so glad she got knocked out. Knocked all that confidence right out of her. So.
But here's the funny thing, though. All of a sudden, when that was announced, there's a lot of people who are who are following comic book people, and they're I like a lot of so they say they hate the casting. I was like, really?
Really? Why?
I don't know. I think they had they have a different specific view of somebody, and that person didn't get cast, and they're like, oh, really?
Well, I think that she's good because it goes to show that these movies are still gaining steam. They're still being taken seriously. I mean, she's an Oscar winner, so just to be able to say, hey, you've got an Oscar winner as a front runner for a comic book movie, and this is a true comic book movie. So, there's no escaping it. I think that's good. I think it's great.
Oh, I do too. And then the rumor is also she'll probably appear first in Avengers Infinity War. And then because the first part comes out first, and then her movie comes out after it, I think, in that 2018. Yeah. I think that's the way it is. I think.
No, I think she got bumped.
Or 2019 or something.
Yeah. Spider-Man bumped her, I think. So. Yeah.
So she's going to be in another Marvel movie before her regular full-scale movie. So that'll work out too. So that's good. I'm for it. I like it. And also the fact is, you know what? If you don't think she fits the character, look at it this way. She's an actress. She's an Oscar-winning actress. And basically what she'll do is she'll build her character around what the script gives her. And she'll probably do her research. I don't doubt that so she'll get an idea of how she wants to play Captain Marvel or how she should play it. And she's going to do it. So I've been hearing not quite as many grumpy people, but a lot of people are saying, they could have done better, but a lot of people are saying, okay, but you know what?
Well, they could have done worse too. So.
Yes, they could have definitely
they could have done much worse.
Absolutely. And then the other big one was we got our first full-length Doctor Strange trailer. Did you see that?
I did.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Got a little Inception in it, right?
Yeah, the street bending and the buildings and everything, but and I'm sure that they're going to really have to work on the post production special effects, but a little bit more of the magic. So I think it's going to be good, and I'm still fine with Tilda Sweeney. I mean, I don't know why people are so upset about her being the Ancient One, but I'm fine with it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I do too. And also, I kind of like the fact that everyone associates Marvel movies with humor because of things like that, but they really didn't have a lot of humor in this one. It was more the action-packed magic thing, which is fine. I'm okay because it, the humor fits a lot of the characters, and it's not overused. The fact that you're like, geez, even Ant-Man, which you're supposed to think is this really big humorous one, they didn't do the humor all that much. It's a very fine balance. So I think I didn't see any major humor in the Doctor Strange one, which is fine. It's absolutely fine because I want to see all these multiple dimensions and the magic stuff and the Steve Ditko era Doctor Strange artwork, which is crazy cool. We've got some Guardians of the Galaxy news. Kurt Russell has been officially recognized as being Star-Lord's father.
Right.
And he's going to be playing Ego the Living Planet, which is kind of weird because what?
Yeah. But it's Guardians of the Galaxy, so I will trust them.
And then it's also been officially documented that Sylvester Stallone will be in Guardians of the Galaxy. They don't know who he's going to be playing yet. So he is officially in the cast as well. So you get a little Tango and Cash reunion type of thing going on. And there was something else about no, that was that Guardians of the Galaxy? No, that was Thor Ragnarok. Okay, which we'll get into now. Thor Ragnarok is revealing a lot more stuff. Also, they revealed the Hulk Gladiator armor, but I don't think you're going to do Hulk Planet or Planet Hulk. I think because of the battle they're going to be going through, he's going to need something a little more to go up.
tells you a lot about the battle. If the Hulk needs armor, then there's some serious smashing going on.
I mean, they announced today Surtur, which is a giant fire demon, is going to be one of the bad guys in it. So, you know, that's, I mean, this is a huge giant ass
right. They're
fire
going all out with it.
And Hela is being played by Kate Blanchett. So that's official also. She's going to play Hela. So they're going to go through hell a little bit. And they apparently are saying maybe the Eternals might be showing up in them as well, in there as well. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. And I think that's all the stuff that they showed really about Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I think that's about all they did with that one. Let me see. Any other Marvel movie information here? Oh, yeah. Can't forget this one. Black Panther. Got some big news about that.
The casting.
Yeah, the casting. They've got Michonne. The actress who plays Michonne is going to play one of T'Challa's bodyguards, which is really cool. And Michael B. Jordan, who was the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movie that we don't really talk about that much, will be basically playing the bad guy in this. So it's going to be fun to see a different angle on Michael B. Jordan, and he can do it because his director, he's worked with this director 2 other times, so you know you're gonna love that. So that should be really, really cool. Anything else movie related in here before we get to the TV stuff? Nope. Then of course the big thing about Netflix now. Oh, wait a minute, Spider-Man. We haven't really talked about this. They've been casting a ton of people, tons of people, and I'm just wondering. They're actually, what's really cool is they're casting a lot of people of color. I hate that phrase, but let's face it, they're doing lots of, you know, Spanish and black and all kinds of stuff like that. So you're going to get more of a kind of like what New York is. You know, it's a melting pot. Yeah, and they're going to do that. They've officially announced that Michael Keaton will be playing the Vulture, so he's going to be the big bad guy. I think it'll work, I think. Yeah. And they've got this actor named Tony Revolori is going to be playing Flash Thompson. So Flash Thompson's going to be in it also. So we got that as well.
I think it's good. I think that, you know, their casting choices are kind of reflecting what Marvel's doing in their comic universe now too. So, you know, they're trying to branch out and get as many people involved as they can and kind of represent everybody to get them to bring them into buying the books. I think they're going to do the same thing with the movie. Plus, they got to make this one really big because it's, hey, Spider-Man's first outing in the MCU. You know, they can't flub this.
Okay, real quick. Bye, baby. Have a good time. Miss you too. I love you so much. Have fun. Be very, very careful, okay? And don't get scared, all right? You're fine. You'll be just fine. I love you. Buddy, you're not going anywhere, buddy.
Hello again.
Mr. MJ says bye. I love you, baby. Yeah, no. So there goes my daughter. She's, for those who didn't know, she's going away for a week-long Girl Scout camp probably about 2 hours away from here. And, you know, it's her first time really being extended away by herself. I'm, of course, being her dad, and Dawn, of course, being the mom. We'll be worried sick about it at the same time. You know, we're going to be, you know, she's going to do fantastic, and she's very open to. And it's really cool. I think I discussed this earlier. The camp she's going to, they have it's weekly camps, so every week there's a different theme. So you don't have to go to every single one. There's like a horse riding one, and there's other stuff as well. But they also have themes, and we got a late start on it this year. So before we did that, we had the list of all the different topics and the things they're going to be doing every week. And so we said, no, I'll pick which 3 are going to be your top 3. So the first one she saw was there was going to be like a Harry Potter oriented camp. And then she marked off as her second one. I'm so proud of her for this. Zombie apocalypse was her second one.
Of course.
And then her third one is the Hunger Games. Now that means, you know, they're not going to do the Hunger Games. They're not going to have a zombie apocalypse, stuff like that. But they're going to show you how to survive in a zombie apocalypse or a Hunger Games or whatever. So Harry Potter, of course. Yeah, Harry Potter, of course, was done by the time we tried to sign up for it. So that was like Juan making us like that. So, you know, we missed out on that one. Zombie Apocalypse was full, so we missed out on that one. So she's going to Hunger Games camp. So she's going to learn archery, which that's the thing she's most excited about, is learning archery. So she's going to learn archery. She's going to learn how to, you know, probably build a camp outside and with the grass and trees and stuff like that.
Right.
She's gonna learn how to hunt for food, and survive. But that's just like a small portion of the day. They'll also do some swimming and they'll do activities and stuff like that. But it should be a lot of fun. She's gonna be rooming with, I think, like 2 other girls.
Okay.
And so it should be a lot of fun. And they're all Girl Scouts, so it's a Girl Scout camp. So I think you have to be a Girl Scout to go to these camps. So here's hoping everything's safe.
Hopefully you don't get a call at 3 a.m. and okay, she's scared, come get her.
I hope not. But if she is, she is. It's this way. But the good news is it's from now till Friday. We'll be able to pick her up Friday at 5 o'clock. So, and she's taking a bus up there, so that way she can meet some new kids and then come back. Hopefully she'll have some friends and stories to tell. So
that's cool.
That's good. So getting back to what we're saying. So now we're getting into Netflix. They released a lot of stuff about Netflix. I saw you mention that the Cage, how excited you are for Luke Cage, and they revealed that the one trailer, they're doing another corridor fight, but that looks just really a lot different than the other ones. But still, just Luke Cage,
brute force,
just getting shot up, all this stuff, and just bouncing right off him, and they just smashing people through things. I like how
brute force. I like that.
They did a teaser for Iron Fist, which looks kind of interesting. I'm still okay with how they're going about with that.
I think that's going to be fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Another real quick teaser also for the Defenders, which has this creepy voice saying, "You all can't take care of yourselves. How can you take care of everyone else?" Something like that. And then officially, as we expected, Daredevil season 3 has been a go. So and there's rumors
how they're going to fit all this in, because I know that originally they had said they were going to have it where they could do 2 Marvel shows per year. But they're getting to be where everything is done. I'm like, oh, you can do 3, you do 4, really.
And they keep announcing more. They got the Punisher. In fact, John Barenthal, crashed one of the Netflix things and talked didn't really not a lot of information about it, but so you got that one. So you got those up there. I mean, the rumor still is, I think, Iron Fist and then Defenders is next year, I think, and then that could change, and then maybe they will throw the Punisher in there or Daredevil season 3, or maybe they might wait for after I don't know, it depends. But the rumor is that Daredevil season 3 might be the Born Again storyline. So. I guess that fits after the 3rd season. I guess you've had 2 seasons already. I guess because that's a huge storyline.
Huge storyline. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. You know what I'd rather see? I'd rather see the something Typhoid Mary, a Typhoid Mary storyline. I
love Typhoid Mary. Yeah.
I'd love to see that first. And then season 4, maybe you can do Born Again, because there's only so many seasons you can probably get out of Daredevil before things start changing, I guess.
Murky.
So mostly. So there's some good stuff out there. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be introducing Ghost Rider, so that's interesting. They'll be getting a little bit away from the Inhuman stuff and doing a little bit more down to earth Marvel stuff, which I think is a good idea.
I'll watch that, because I do like the Ghost Rider. I'm not the Nicolas Cage movie, but I'll see what they do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That could be fun.
And then I wasn't going to take a look at this, but I figured out, what do I got to lose? They showed the Legion trailer, which is the mutant son of Professor X, and it actually looks kind of interesting. It's
very
going to be
different. Yeah,
it's going to be on FX, and we get a little bit idea that he's trading lives with this woman, and that's a neat idea. And then they showed the humor, like the scene at the very end where he's doing this
little dance,
Indian dance thing, and then the guy's like, "Oh no, we'll need pass that one." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, thank you, that'd be good."
No, that does look pretty interesting. So
I might have to check that one out. And I think we talked about this. Yes, the awful Krypton series is going to be greenlit for Sci-Fi. So
I just still can't believe they're actually doing that still.
I know.
And I don't know who they think the audience for it is, because I'm telling you, I can't think of anybody that will want to see that. I really can't.
It's on Sci-Fi, and you could do so much better. You could bring back something else, or do something different.
You could do Piranha Conda 2 for probably half the budget they're going to spend on this. I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Oh man. So we'll see about that. Let me see. Anything else Marvel related, book wise, or TV wise? No, I think I got everything.
pretty much it.
And then, of course, the independents aren't going to go quietly into that good night. And so other people are saying, you know what, we should do some other stuff as well and try some different things. So Deadly Class, which is an Image book about a school of assassins, has been optioned for a TV series, with the producers being the guys who did Civil War and Winter Soldier. So the guys who directed are going to be producing this assassin school type of TV show. So, it sounds like a regular TV show. It's not really, because, independence comics are a lot different than superheroes, as we know.
Right.
And then, speaking of Greg Rucka, we talked about him earlier about Wonder Woman. Black Magic, which is his independent book he's doing with Nicola Scott, has been optioned also for a TV series. Basically, to break it down, it's basically a witch police officer. She's a police officer who happens to be a witch and deals with kind of supernatural crime type of thing. I guess similar to a Winona Earp type of thing, which reminds me, which is a great series. I love Winona Earp. It got renewed for a second season officially, so we're going to get a second season of Winona Earp, which is good. So we got that. And then we're gonna do some. I just got a couple of comic news, and then we'll move on to something else. Deadpool is still Deadpool. Marvel has announced a Shakespeare Deadpool comic.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe a one shot or whatever, and also another maybe one shot or mini series where a symbiote, like a symbiote, like a Venom, is going to attach itself to Deadpool, which.
He has definitely become the new Wolverine. It's like, let's put him in everything we can think of, and no matter how crazy it is.
So we'll see about that. I don't know. But reminds me, the most recent Spider-Man Deadpool comic that came out does a fantastic homage to the Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spider-Mans, and it's done in that art style and the story-wise. It's actually freaking hilarious to see that. So I had to pick that up. I've talked about how DC has been updating their Hanna-Barbera characters. They did like a version of Scooby-Doo and the Apocalypse and Space Ghost and Johnny Quest and the Herculoids teaming up together and the Flintstones and stuff like that. Well, Garth Ennis is going to be writing a Dastardly and Muttley book. So,
wow.
It's
that's something I can't really picture, but
I might have to pick that up. So.
Garth Ennis doing that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then speaking of weird things, and I guess it's to jump onto the Doctor Strange coming out at in November. They're doing a Doctor Strange Punisher team up comic that's going to be digital first.
I don't know about that. It's like those are two completely different worlds that need to stay separate, I think.
We shall see. But I think that's all my news. I got a comic from San Diego. Since Dawn has left now, we can talk about Star Trek. I'm not going to tell you why I said that, but Star Trek Beyond came out on Friday. I went to see it without her, so she doesn't know that yet. And I probably won't tell her because I'm a little wuss. So, and probably saying this now, someone's going to say, "Oh, let's tell Dawn anyway." No, please don't. I'm going to work up to it. I really don't want a mad wife at me. But I saw it and I enjoyed it immensely. I know you liked Into Darkness better. I like this one better than Into Darkness. But let me get your take on Star Trek Beyond, MJ.
I thought it was really good. Like I said, I do like the second one better, but for some reason, I just like the character of Khan, even though he's been done before, so I really like that. But this one was really good. I wish they had spent a little more time in, what was it, that little bubble where the starships kind of refueled or whatever that they did. Yorktown. Yeah. I like that society. I'm thinking that would be a cool TV show. Just, what happens inside Yorktown. So I did like that. I like the new characters they introduced. I think Idris Elba was a little bit wasted. I think they could have done more with him. But overall, it was nice seeing them work together outside of the Enterprise. That's what I really like, the camaraderie that built up that lets you show how much these people care about each other as people and not just teammates, but as, this is my friend and I'm not going to let anything happen to them. So I really did like that.
And I also liked it that it's basically, Star Trek, the existential crisis with funny to seeing Chris Pine's James T. Kirk contemplating that he's bored with what he's doing. You never see Shatner really do that, as being head of the Enterprise. But here he's just sort of like, I've been doing this for 3 years. It's the same old story over and over again, and I'm getting sick of it. It's one of the things. So he's asking for a vice admiralship at in Yorktown, which means he wouldn't go into a ship, and he just sort of, I guess, be a ruler type of thing, or make rules or laws, and just not go out into space anymore, because he's got that existential crisis going on. And I think that came due to the fact that it was his birthday, which I thought was a really good connection to the series. And now that age he was turning, he's now older than his father.
Right.
And so now, and I think Bones said it perfectly in the bar scene, is like, you spent all this time trying to live up to your dad, and now what are you going to do? Because
you're older.
You're older than him.
Yeah, he never made it this far. So,
and then on top of that, you add Spock is having an existential crisis, which is odd for a Vulcan, but he still is. I mean, his relationship is breaking up with Uhura, and then he gets the punch of Admiral Spock being Ambassador Spock dying, which I thought was a wonderful homage to Leonard Nimoy, and it's a plot point. I mean, it's a big part of the movie, and it's absolutely amazing, and I love the fact that they did that. And the reason why he's wants to break up with Uhura and do all that stuff, it makes sense, because with Vulcans now being a minority, he wants to help increase the population, as it were, start bringing more Vulcans back, and helping them, get bigger and better, and get back to where they were before they were killed in the alternate reality. So you got him also wanting to leave Starfleet, and just that scene early on between Spock and him, where they both want to say something to each other, shows you how far their relationship has come. And I'm glad the way they split up the characters in the movie, but I would have liked to see a little bit more Kirk and Spock again. But we've already seen that in the first two, so I love the idea of them splitting everybody up. So then when the big event happens, you've got Kirk working with people he usually doesn't, with Chekhov, and then you got Bones and Spock together, which was fantastic. And then you've got Sulu and Uhura together as well. So you're getting them all split up, and then Scotty is with Jayla, which is the new alien, who I love also. I love her too.
Great character.
Absolutely great character. And you just have them all split up and eventually finding their way back together. But you give them, it's a different dynamic. You see people you don't normally see together, you're seeing together. And it, as you said, it goes to show you that they all have chemistry with each other. They all worked out really well, that they are a team and a family. And that's why I really, really enjoyed this. It doesn't have the spectacle of the other two.
Right.
But Idris Elba, I like the twist with Idris Elba, which I'm not going to reveal on here. That's just something you need to find out for your own. I mean, we spoiled a Civil War, but that's a different story. This needs to be
discuss that without spoiling it. This one you don't have to.
Yeah, this one you don't have to, because it is kind of a shocker, even though you kind of got it with one line. That it took me a second when he said this one line near the end. Some along the lines of "It's good to see you, old friend," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, what does he mean by that?"
And then I was thinking, like, who's on there that he knows? Yeah.
And then some were like, "Oh shit!" And I like it, and they explained it perfectly. So, and then I like the scene where Spock gets Ambassador Spock stuff, and he finds the picture of the
original
alternate reality Trek crew, with Shatner and George Takei and all those. That was amazing also.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. And I'm dying to see it again. That's why I'm trying to figure out a way to get Dawn to see it.
And then like, I wonder. You just have to keep your mouth shut and be like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, wow, I didn't see that coming. That was really good movie. So I highly recommend everybody goes to see it. Stardust, Heather is going to see it now. That's why she can't watch our show live. So that's good. And I think I learned this too about Tony Solo, that he's a Star Trek fan too. And he was able to see it, I think, in there, and got some cool swag. So it's kind of good. So
I think most of the people that have seen it have really enjoyed it too. I went with Brian, and he's like, oh, he goes, it was like a big car chase in space. I'm like, what? He's like, it was okay, but then he's a big Star Wars fan, and I'm like, you rave about Star Wars, and it's literally the same movie that they've made 3 times in a row now, and you think it's the greatest thing every time you see it.
Oh man, I gotta get him straight, right?
I can't with that. It's like,
yeah, but maybe with the new rumor now that the Star Trek 4 is going to bring Chris Hemsworth's character back, which is Kirk's dad, which kind of makes sense because they've sort of been following kind of a similar path. I mean, the second one was Khan, the third one. This really isn't a spoiler because you basically see it in the trailer, stuff like that. The Enterprise gets destroyed,
right?
And that happened in Search for Spock also. So then, the rumor now that Chris Hemsworth is going to appear in the fourth one, time travel.
Yep.
Star Trek 4 is time travel. So let's just not do a terrible Star Trek 5, okay? Let's not do that. No. Chris Pine, don't direct it, okay? Unless you really have
I don't think he cares. He's like, he doesn't look like he'd be the least bit interested. It'll be good too because CBS just announced, I didn't realize, but they're doing another Star Trek TV series, Discovery, and they just showed like the first teaser trailer of the ship and everything from that, which looks amazing. So,
maybe it's coming back then, yeah. So that's good. So yeah, definitely. Both MJ and I, say go see it. It is really good. Plus, as I said, it's great to see Chris Pine not be his usual cocky, snarky self. Right. He does appear occasionally, but I got to say that the use of the Beastie Boys sabotage in the movie is absolutely perfect.
Brilliant, yeah.
I loved how they did that, and we got a Greg Grunberg sighting also. Yep. He pops up as actually a pretty good sized role in that. So even though JJ is only a producer on it, so but yeah, it's more of action packed than the last couple have been. I agree with Brian on that aspect of it, but you need that. You kind of need to have a little bit of a palate cleanser, a little bit. So, because to me, it seemed like I guess the Klingon scene in number 2 was supposed to be there, but it felt kind of a little forced to me. But that's just But all right. Let's see. So I talked about that. I didn't. I think I talked to you about this before we came on, but Betty and Veronica. Archie is doing this amazing rebirth of their own with Mark Waid coming on to write Archie, and then they had Chip Zdarsky writing Jughead, Afterlife with Archie, the zombie apocalypse in the Archie world, stuff like that. So they're rebranding kind of, and they're doing a new Josie and the Pussycats also. They're kind of rebranding Archie as well. But in this case, they rebranded Betty and Veronica. And normally I'm not a big Archie fan. I'm reading Afterlife with Archie because it's amazing. But I had to get Betty and Veronica because one of my favorite artists from the 90s is back on a regular book. Technically, it's going to be bi-monthly, so you only get 6 issues instead of 12. But if I can get his artwork all the time, I'm fine with that. Adam Hughes, who is really good at drawing cheesecake artwork, is doing the art for it, and he's also writing it as well. And so I said, I got to pick it up. So I picked up the first issue, and I said, this is one of the ones I want to read first. So I read it. I loved it. I love Betty and Veronica. I talked about it in depth on my Comic Hall show on Wednesday, and I'll just talk about it briefly here. But it's Adam Hughes' artwork is it's funny to see how he's aged, because it doesn't quite look the same as it was in the 90s. And that's not a bad thing. It looks more polished, maybe is what is the proper word for it. He still can draw cheesecake really good, but he doesn't overdo it. Like, say, maybe I like the guy, but Frank Cho is obsessed with his cheesecake, and we can talk about that story in a few seconds. But he's obsessed with his cheesecake, whereas Adam Hughes, he'll throw a little bit in there as kind of a joke. Actually, it's a really good joke in the first issue. The first issue is narrated, is narrated basically by Hot Dog, which is Jughead's dog. And he's talking about everything that's going on. And then literally in the middle of the book, it's like just a white page, and it's just Hot Dog saying, I regret to inform you that I have lived up to my potential as a dog, and I've eaten the 2 pages of artwork here. So let me explain in detail what you're going to be, which you didn't get to see. So it's just him in this big exposition bubble. And then he says, all right, if you don't want to see that, we'll flip to the next page, and what we'll do is we'll get Betty and Veronica in their swimsuits, doing the rest of it. So then they've got, that way Adam Hughes is able to do his cheesecake with them in swimsuits, detailing, this is what happened on this page. So it's actually very funny. And it's a really good storyline also where Pop's malt shop is being bought out by a coffee, like a Starbucks type of place, being bought out by a coffee place. And Veronica, being Veronica, has got her dad to buy the coffee shop and is trying to get it to move into the spot of Pop's stand, much to the chagrin of Betty, who wants to save it. So they're frenemies, and this just brings out the battle between them. So I'm dying to see how that's going to go. As I said, it's bi-monthly, so I won't be able to see a new issue of it until September. Right. But that's fine. If I can get Adam Hughes doing the artwork all the time, if it takes him 2 months to do it, I'll gladly wait. It's not a problem. Afterlife with Archie is similar to that, because Francisco Francavilla, who's a great artist, is also a really, really long artist. It takes him months to do an issue. So Afterlife with Archie's kind of jumping all over the place. So we'll see. But that's really good. But that just brought up, this was, I think we'll talk about more about in Rebirth, but Frank Cho, there was a Frank Cho controversy. I don't know, have you heard about the Frank Cho controversy?
No.
He's been doing the covers for the variants for Wonder Woman. And they're typical Frank Cho, you expect. He's very, as I said, he loves his cheesecake and stuff like that. Well, he quit after he claims Greg Rucka was the one that censored him. He wanted to show a picture of Wonder Woman battling somebody. You could see a panty shot of her. And Greg Rucka's like, you know what? That's not Wonder Woman. I don't want this cover on my book. And DC editorial agreed with him. So Frank Cho stormed off, claiming censorship and stuff like that. So it became sort of a big thing in the internet for a couple days. So we'll see. I've met Frank Cho before. He seems like he's a decent enough guy. I like his artwork, but again, he suffers from, it takes him forever to do a book. And he loves his cheesecake and it's gorgeous, but that's all he seems to really be obsessed about. So we'll see. But I know you didn't read Rebirth, the main story.
The actual comic. Yeah, right.
I'm going to spoil it a little bit for you.
Spoil away.
It's been 2 months, so but you have been reading some of the other books, though, which is good, and we'll talk about it. But in the Rebirth comic, it led to Wally West coming back to the DC universe. We talked about that on our show last time. Right. But there were 2 other big events that happened. One, I'm still kind of iffy on how that's going to fit in. But I think Jeff Johns has a plan. He mentioned that there were 3 different Jokers that they're all different ones that interacted with Batman during his tenure as Batman. So one of them was the one he most recently battled with. Another one was the one that shot Barbara Gordon, and another one was from the early days. So it's not the same person. They're 3 different people, and he's trying to figure out, because the whole thing that Jeff Johns' Justice League in the New 52 was them fighting Darkseid. Eventually, Darkseid died, and the Justice League became the New Gods, and Batman got Metron's power, which was to know everything. So he asked the question, who is the Joker? And he got that answer. So there's 3 different Jokers, and I'm wondering how Jeff Johns, because he's not really currently writing any of the books in the new Rebirth. So I don't know how he's going to bring that about or what. So because it's not even mentioned in the Batman books. So we'll see. The other one is this one I'm sort of reserving judgment on, and this is the big spoiler, MJ. Okay. Apparently, the person behind the New 52 is Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen. So basically, they're going to be bringing the Watchmen into battle with the DC universe, because at the end of Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan says something along the lines of, I can go out and then I can make changes to the universe and make it for a better place. And the rumor is, and this is what Jeff Johns wrote, is that he was the one that manipulated the New 52, the old DC universe, and turned it into the New 52 just to see what happens. And the Rebirth comic ends with Batman finding the comedian's card with the blood on it, stuck in the wall of the Batcave, meaning that the Watchmen are around somehow. And also there's a rumor in Superman Rebirth, the Rebirth comic before the actual comic, there was an appearance by somebody in shadow who claims to be the one that did this. We think that's Dr. Manhattan letting Superman know there's something going on. So we'll see what happens. I'm still going to reserve my judgment on that, as long as they don't like bring it like a full-on Watchmen versus Justice League type of thing. I don't want to see that. I want to see more of a subtle. And Jeff Johns said also it's a 2-year storyline he's got planned for Rebirth. So eventually they're going to have to cross paths in some form or another, so we'll see what happens. The rumor is also that because Wally West has now joined the Titans, which is the original Titans, not the Teen Titans, the original Titans. So you've got Nightwing, Speedy, Wonder Girl, stuff like that. Cyborg's not a part of it because he's a part of the Justice League now. But they're going to be the ones who are going to be digging up the story about the Watchmen, because Wally's the one who knows what's going on, what's going on. So we'll see about that. But I've been reading the Rebirths, and they really haven't mentioned that aspect of it yet, which is fine. They want to tell their own stories, which is good. But I'm actually very pleased with how things are going right now. I was not a big fan of the New 52 in a lot of ways. Some ways I was, but in a lot of I wasn't. I love Superman. I'm up to date with Superman, written by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. Him and Lois are back. It's the Superman from the previous DC universe before New 52 happened. So he and Lois are married. They have a son in Jonathan. So he's starting to develop his powers, and that's more the focus is on him right now. So it was a heartbreaking death of one of the main characters, one of the supporting characters in Superman happened in the newest issue. I'm not going to say who it was, but it was a heartbreaking one, and it's developing that his powers are starting to come out now, so they've got to teach him how to control them. So I've been loving Superman. I know you've read Wonder Woman, and I kind of like that too, because it is Greg Rucka, but you are right. You had a little bit confused about it. You can see why,
Yeah, I thought I was getting like number 1, number 2, but apparently I guess there are 2 books that are going to be published either weekly, but
it is the same book. It's just the 1 week is the present story, and so number 2 is the year 1 story.
Year 1. Okay, all right. Because I was really confused. I was like, all right, this doesn't make sense. What happened at the end of the first one that I read didn't pick back up in the second one. I'm like, but this didn't happen in the first one. So it was just really confusing. But I am liking the story. I'm glad that they're finally moving in the right direction with her again. That last iteration just like annoyed the hell out of me. I'm like, I can't read this. But this one they have gotten back on track, it seems like. So I'm really enjoying it.
And I like the fact that because she's starting to question who she is also. Is she the daughter of Zeus, or is she the clay the clay creation that was breathed to life of the gods? So she's trying to figure that out. And I think and then at the same time, she's trying to accept the death of the New 52 Superman, who was her lover. So, you've got all that. And then you see this new Superman appears, and you don't know how you feel about that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I've read Justice League, written by Brian Hitch, with art by Tony Daniel. Again, it's okay. It's your typical Justice League, and it's going to be a big screen extravaganza. They're going to be taking on the big battles. It's the bad guy. And this is some creature called the Kindred, who is taking over people's bodies and causing massive destruction around the world. So it's been interesting. So that one's good. And I read Birds of Prey Rebirth came out this week. I read that one. I also read Nightwing. I like what they're doing with Nightwing.
Back as Nightwing again.
Back as Nightwing again, but they're not ignoring his past as Agent 37 and Batman and all that stuff. They're bringing that all together. And he's also still involved with the Court of Owls, which I think is a good story. So So I'm happy with that one. There's still a few I haven't read yet, but the one I really, really like a lot is, well, I'll talk about Birds of Prey real quick. Birds of Prey is good. We're getting Huntress and Batgirl and Black Canary back together again, and they're taking on a new Oracle, which is interesting. So to see who the new Oracle is will be a good mystery for them. So I'm liking that also. But the one I'm really, really liking a lot is Green Lanterns.
Right.
which is Simon Baz, the Muslim Green Lantern, and Jessica, I forget her last name. She's Hispanic, I think, who was under the control of the evil Green Lantern from Earth 2, but
Right.
now she has her own ring. So it's the two of them. It's like a training day almost. Simon Baz has a little bit more experience than Jessica does, but they are bashing heads because they both have different ideologies and stuff like that. And they're bringing the Red Lanterns back in a big way. And so the storyline has been great with these two rookies are in charge of covering Earth while Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner and Kyle are all out in outer space taking care of what's going on out there. And we're getting a little bit more into it also in the Hal Jordan book that Sinestro has taken over a whole sector and has turned that into a Yellow Lantern sector. And now the Red Lanterns are trying to take over the Earth and turn it into their new planet, where I think Ismalt is starting to get destroyed, so they need to find a new planet for Rage, and they pick the Earth. And so they're building this like cathedral type of thing that's digging down to the Earth's core and is turning all these people into Rage influenced people. So it's up to these two rookies, Simon Baz and Jessica, to take on the whole Red Lanterns crew. And it's really interesting because Simon Baz is slowly becoming a really interesting character. Now, at this point, Jessica is slightly annoying, but I can understand it. She's the one who is always questioning, but it works. So she's always questioning what Simon's doing, and she can't create a construct because she has low self-esteem in herself and she can't think that she can do it. She can't build constructs, and she's trying to, but she's just not able to, and she's still trying to figure out how to use the ring. Simon is getting annoyed with that because he thinks he'll do better on his own, but he can't because the two of them are connected by the same lantern and they have to charge the same team. And they were tasked by Hal Jordan to be the Green Lanterns. They have to find a way to work together. So of course he's being the petulant type of, I don't want to work with her. So that's, those character decisions are kind of annoying, but I understand it. I just hope they don't linger too long, and gradually you see their characters start coming out more and they start becoming more begrudging respect for each other. But Simon is slowly becoming a really interesting Green Lantern because he's showing some new powers that the other Green Lanterns don't have. He's got something called like the Green Vision, which he's able to see like future events and stuff like that. Not all the time, but it hits him when he least expects it, and it gives him a flash of a bunch of different things going on. And he's going to have to figure out a way to pick and choose where they are and try to get them back into his mind so he can figure out how to solve a problem or whatever, because he's like giving him the solutions. But there's so many of them that his mind isn't used to it yet.
Right.
And then in this most recent issue, and this is a spoiler for those who haven't read it, he's developed another new power where he was taking on one of the Red Lanterns, one of the main ones, and was able to suck out her rage and turn her back from a Red Lantern into the regular person who she was before she became a Red Lantern, where she was beginning to not feel rage all the time and now was starting to feel good about herself again and her life and stuff like that. So he has the ability now to change these people, and of course it fails because something happens and the rage goes back into her. Now she hates him more because she saw a view of what could have been, but now she's back this way and she's pissed now. But it's really something interesting to look back on into. And once again, I hope Jessica gets over her whole whiny. I hate to say it's whininess, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
And she's a really interesting character because it's a character who's has a fear of the outside, and to keep that up is a good character thing, but I don't want her to keep complaining about it and stuff like that. I want to see her advance through the storyline, but because I know she can do it. So I like that. I like Green Lanterns a lot, and I haven't read it yet. But in Batman, the Psycho Pirate is making a return, so he's the only guy who remembers how things were back in the Crisis era, in 1986. So maybe he's going to play a part in everything as well. So there's still a bunch I need to read. I need to read the Batmans. I need to read Detective. I need to read Flash. I need to read Action. And I've been skipping a few. I'm not that interested in Aquaman or Green Arrow. The Green Arrow and Black Canary are back together.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I did pick up the Aquaman. I haven't read it yet, so I'll see how that one is.
Yeah. And then there's always some more new ones coming out all the time. I got Hellblazer, even though I don't think I'm going to follow that anymore because I'm just not a big fan. Yeah, so I just want to get like the Rebirth book. So that's Rebirth. So there's some good stuff there. And I guess the last thing we want to talk about maybe is one more controversy, and then we'll be heading out of here. All right. The Killing Joke.
Oh.
Now,
Well, first, all right. Do you think that is the best be-all classic storytelling of a comic of the genre that everybody says that it is? I know it's old, but you know, everybody always said that's the best. That's the epitome of a Batman story. I don't think it is, but what do you think about it as a story?
I agree with you. I honestly, I don't like the story.
Okay.
The big thing is I'm not a big fan of the Joker. I've never really been a big fan of the Joker, and I think he's overused. And I was kind of disappointed in Scott Snyder when he was writing Batman. He used him in like 3 storylines. I was like, can you use somebody else? And then he turned Riddler into this awful character, which I didn't like either. So he started off strong with the Court of Owls, and then he just went downhill from there. But the one thing I liked about The Killing Joke was I liked Brian Bolland's artwork. I mean, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and stuff like that. But I hate with a passion what the Joker did to Barbara Gordon. Now, there's a controversy about that also, and I want to get your take on that also, because I have my own opinion about it. A lot of people believe that after, you know, the story is, you know, he shoots Barbara Gordon in through the spine. She gets crippled. And then he takes off her clothes and takes pictures of her naked to try to break her father, Commissioner Gordon. Now, a lot of people are gleaming on the fact that they think that the Joker raped her. And I honestly don't. Do you?
I don't think he did. No, I don't think that he did either. I think that it's far more demoralizing to have her helpless like that and knowing that, hey, you know what? I could have done something, but I didn't do it, because that's much more terrifying to the victim, and also it puts the what if in Commissioner Gordon's mind. You know, that just is like, he probably took it and like ran with it and made it horrible. But just to see the pictures of your daughter helpless like that, to me, that's far worse. I don't think that he took it, not that he wouldn't take it that far. I just don't think that he did, because he's like, you know what? I am here to make a point. I don't need to do that. That's how I took it.
And because he is there to make a point, because the point was that even the righteous guy can have one bad day and turn bad. And that connects with what they think is the actual Joker origin, where he was a regular guy who had a bad day and then got sucked into this crime thing and got turned to the Joker. So he wants to prove that happens. Now, that's a good connective storyline, but I didn't like it. And one of the things I didn't like about it was because of all this mental torture he puts James Gordon through, and the shooting of Barbara Gordon and crippling her and stuff like that. At the very end, when Batman and Joker have their final battle and it ends, the Joker tells Batman a joke and Batman laughs at it.
Which I hate that, yeah. He would not have laughed. No, that's like, there's nothing to laugh at about that storyline. And Batman, he just wouldn't. Like, that is so out of character to find anything humorous in what had just happened and led him up to that point.
Yeah, and that's what really puts me off on that. And you can blame Alan Moore, because slowly I'm beginning to really hate his stuff. I mean, Watchmen is good. It is, and The Killing Joke is okay, but I don't think it's the greatest Joker story or the greatest book ever written or whatever. And The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was a good idea, but he just went off on all these crazy tangents, and now he's like this crazy old man now in England. So, you know,
like it was, you could see it coming in all of his writing, all of his projects. You know, he just went off the rails completely, and now that's where he lives. So,
yeah, I mean, there's no denying his influence on comics, but still, to call him the greatest, I'm not sure. So now, a lot of people, as you said, think it is the be-all greatest Joker story of all time, all this stuff. So, of course, DC, who has a troublesome live-action film division, but has a really good animated division. They've been doing some really, really good stuff. They've been doing a lot of the storylines into their movies and stuff like that, and got some good voice talent behind it. They're doing a Killing Joke movie. Now, they were able to get an R rating for it, so they can actually do, you know, a full-fledged almost adaptation of it, because this is an R-rated story, basically.
Yeah, it's not for, you know, the kids.
Yeah, so they were able to get it. They got Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, who did the voices of the Batman animated series, which was excellent, to come back and do their voices again. And they did the Killing Joke, basically pretty much a straight up adaptation, but a straight up adaptation is not long enough. So, you know, a lot of people knew when they read the book that Barbara Gordon was Batgirl, but a lot of people might not know that Barbara Gordon is Batgirl. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to add scenes of Batgirl in action, which I'm okay with. You know, I'm okay with that. You want to pad it a little bit to show her that she was being heroic and stuff like that. That would have been fine, you know, and it's okay. That's the way the adaptation goes. I might have seen it then because it sounds good, but then they showed it at San Diego, and then I got a really creepy news that I am just turned me off basically on the whole story. The story itself was going to turn me off on anyway, but I still would have liked to see what they would have done with it. Now, part of the added scenes now has Batgirl having sex with Batman on a rooftop. And that is just disgustingly creepy because that is not the relationship between Batgirl and Batman.
Ever.
That's
never even been hinted at or alluded to. Never.
And and a lot of people agree with us. They say it sort of came out of nowhere. Now, a lot of people were blaming Bruce Timm, who I guess is one of the producers of it. He was the producer of the animated series. He always was trying to get Batman and Batgirl together, but that doesn't work because Batgirl is the same age as Dick Grayson, who is his son. And it's about I got to say, there's got to be a 5 to 10 year difference. It's got maybe a little bit more than that because it's going to be about 10-year difference probably between them. And so the same thing with Batgirl because Batgirl and Dick are the same age.
Right.
And so to have Batgirl have sex with Batman. Now, I know why Bruce Timm might have wanted to do it besides the fact that, I've always wanted them together. Yes, I can see that it's going to affect Batman more when she gets shot. But you know what? There are other ways you can do it besides sex. And then I heard after they have sex, Batman blows her off as it was nothing. It's like, really?
Yeah. I mean, they don't need to do that to make him care more about her. He's going to care when she gets shot. The Bat family is literally his family. That he's taken them under his wing. He's taught them. He loves these people, and he is there for them. He's going to be affected by that. But that just took it to that was just needless, I think, to have them develop that type of a relationship and reduce her to I don't even know what she's been reduced to if they take it to that point. What is she going to do? Just be upset and mewling over him? I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, okay, so he blew me off. He was like, oh, great. Now he blew me off and I just had sex with him. I've been in love with him all the time. So now I'm going to start complaining and bitching and whining and moaning. And then I'm going to go home and eat ice cream with my dad. And I'll knock on the door. Bam, I get shot and I'll cripple.
Right. Yeah.
It just and that just destroys her character because Barbara is such an interesting character. Now, I wasn't a big fan of having her turn back into Batgirl in the New 52. Now, I know why they did it. And you got Gail Simone to write the first couple arcs with Batgirl, and then you took her in a completely different direction, which was good as well. I kind of like the new direction.
Like the new direction.
Okay.
No, I gave it a chance. I read those, but the Gail Simone, those were really good. And then they took her to college and everything. And for some reason, I just couldn't make that transition in my mind.
I can see that. Actually, I can see that, and I'm hoping that with the new Batgirl series coming out for Rebirth and her Birds of Prey stuff, she's sort of reverting back to the Gail Simone type of thing. I mean, she still has. They're still going to connect some of the dots, but it's going to be more of it's a different writing team, and it's going to be more of a more super heroic thing, I think. So that's Barbara's character. But even before then, the fact that they decided to, because there have been rumors also that Killing Joke was not part of DC continuity. It was just going to be a one-off that Alan Moore was going to do because he wanted to do a Batman story. He had a good story and they were going to pay him a bunch of money to do it. And it was the right time because he was huge with Watchmen and all that stuff. So, and you got Brian Bolland do the artwork, which is gorgeous. But, they figured, okay, we'll just do a one-off and then, let's see what happens. But then they gleaned on the fact that they crippled Batgirl. And they said, hey, why don't we make that part of the regular DC continuity, make Killing Joke basically a part of the continuity. So now you had her disappear for a while. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Chuck Dixon might have been the one who created Oracle. And you see this character called Oracle who's giving them all this information. You're like, okay, that's kind of a neat mystery to find out. And then all of a sudden, the big reveal, oh, shit, it's Barbara Gordon. Which makes perfect sense. No, it makes absolute perfect sense.
She's in a wheelchair now. Right.
She's in a wheelchair. She's hugely intelligent. She would know how to, be a hacker and learn computer systems, stuff like that. She's got, I think the term is didactic memory. She's got a photographic memory, so she remembers everything.
Right.
So she'll know, she can just read, how to create websites and patch into stuff like that. And she can learn all that and she'll know it and do it with ease.
Mhm.
And so it made sense then to have her be like the superhero news group says, hey, go here or go here. This is what's going on. Be the one that follows them. She's not going anywhere,
Right.
And then they brought in the connection with Black Canary and Birds of Prey, which is still one of the best series, where it was Black Canary doing the work of Barbara Gordon, who was still in a wheelchair.
Mhm.
It was basically a Black Canary solo book, but
Yeah.
they gave stories to Barbara Gordon and showed their friendship. And then they threw the Huntress in there when they did the Birds of Prey TV series, and they brought the Huntress in, and I was okay with that.
Very underrated, and I think if they had done that today, that would be a hit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that totally. So you get all that. So then Birds of Prey became one of my absolute favorite books. You get Chuck Dixon did a really good job with it. And then he threw it over to Gail Simone, who did an amazing job with it also. And then Tony Bedard even did an underrated version of it as well before they, I don't remember if they did I think they did a Birds of Prey in the New 52. I don't remember if they did or not. But then I think it went a little bit off the rails. They got like Poison Ivy and Katana involved as well. And Batgirl really wasn't in it because she wasn't Barbara Gordon. She wasn't Oracle anymore. She was Batgirl again. She was doing her own thing. So maybe that didn't work. Maybe you need to have Barbara Gordon as Oracle to do that. And it was a great series, and I liked that. And that was the one good thing maybe that came out of Birds of Prey, or not Birds of Prey, Killing Joke, that you were able to get. But it gave her a really good character, because Barbara Gordon, it showed that she could be a really good character and not be Batgirl. She was still heroic. She was still smart. She was still helping people out. But you're right. This new movie version treats her like a mewling teenager now.
Yeah.
Heartbroken.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, this is what women are. This is what they're good for. This is what they are reduced to. If you really want to get to one of them, have sex with them and break their heart. And then she's reduced to nothing. And it's, I don't know.
It's so. As of now, it was an idea that I might have checked it out, but now, you know what? I'm not that interested in it anymore. So,
I'm still deciding. I'm like, I was going to see it, and then I didn't know about this until a few days ago when it came out. So now I'm like, I don't know. So I probably will, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's similar with lines. I'm also contemplating buying the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman just to see it for myself, because it came out this past Tuesday. And see if the Ultimate Edition helps any, because a lot of people who've seen it said it makes it a little bit better, but still it's a pretty bad movie. So we'll see. I think we covered everything I wanted to. So you have anything else to add, MJ?
I don't think so. It's been some good news coming out of Comic-Con. So.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll keep hearing some more stuff. So, from what we've heard, what we've seen, I'm getting excited for a lot of things. Doctor Strange looks good. Wonder Woman looks good.
Amazing.
Brie Larson is Captain Marvel. I like that idea too. Guardians of the Galaxy should be interesting. And of course, all the Netflix stuff. You got to love that. And the CW TV shows.
The CW TV shows, yeah. But I'm really excited for the Netflix stuff, there's just some good stuff coming up. So anybody who thought that, we've kind of, the bubble has burst on it hasn't burst. It hasn't even gotten anywhere near it. So,
it's going to be interesting. We touched on this like last time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after the last Avengers Infinity movie, because after that they really haven't gone into much detail about what's going to come after Infinity. They say things are going to be different and changing. What does that mean? Obviously we'll see more Spider-Man movies probably, and more Captain Marvel movies probably, but then Iron Man's getting older, Captain America's getting older, will we see finally the long-awaited Black Widow movie? Joss Whedon came out today and said, I'd love to do a Black Widow movie, and I don't know. Honestly, I'd rather see the guys who did Civil War and Winter Soldier do a Black Widow movie, because I think they did. Granted, I think Joss was sort of held down for Age of Ultron, but I didn't like his characterization of Natasha and that.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. So, but her in Winter Soldier and Civil War was fantastic. So I'm going to get those guys. But maybe get those guys to write it, and maybe Joss to direct it or something along those lines, and maybe have him join up with them so he can throw a little bit of his Joss Whedonisms in there as well. That could be really good too. So then you start getting to things like, okay, now we can probably get another Guardians of the Galaxy out of that also, but then what new new heroes are we going to get? Are we going to start focusing more on the younger group? Like with Ant-Man. His daughter Kate, his daughter is getting older. She becomes a member of the Young Avengers, along with some really young characters, Hulkling and other stuff as well, which are like related to some of the other heroes. So you could have like their own version of Teen Titans, that could be interesting as well. And, DC's already got their lineup pretty much stacked through 2021, but Marvel they've sort of stopped that point. Says, yeah, we got movies coming out. We just don't know what they are yet,
We're going to surprise you.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens, but that should be interesting. But yeah, as of now, I don't foresee anything. I think Doctor Strange is going to be well received again, even though it's another really bizarre type of film. I think Captain Marvel will be well received. I think Black Panther is going to be well received, and you've got those guys are young, so you can probably get a couple more Black Panthers out there, and that was going to be awesome too to see him come back in there as well. So you're going to have movies, but you might not have your Tony Starks and your Steve Rogers and stuff like that coming out, your Chris Hemsworths and your Thors and stuff like that. So we'll see. And then Thor Ragnarok sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun also. So the
big buddy movie.
Yeah. So just focus on the now. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Spider-Man coming up next year. We got Doctor Strange this year. We got Ant-Man 2 coming up soon. We got Avengers 3 and 4, and other stuff coming. So we got all kinds of good stuff still to come. And then when 2020 comes around or 2021 comes around, we'll get a better view of what's going on. That's still a long ways away.
Hopefully.
And maybe we'll still be doing the show then.
Hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Exactly. So on that note, I think we're going to say farewell. It's 1:45 exactly. That is when my daughter should be getting on the bus right now to leave. So bye, Noelle. Have a good time. Daddy misses you, and be careful. And I miss you, MJ.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I will hopefully definitely see you tonight for Snarkweek.
Hopefully a lot of other people will see them too. So yeah,
definitely Snark Alex. Definitely go back to the beginning of the show and find out what's going on. We're going to snark the hell out of stuff for the next week or so.
Trend it.
And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the after shows. We'll be having a lot of fun then. And y'all take care. Have a good day. And this is Dylan Lang and MJ Khan, not live from San Diego. Signing off, just live. Bye-bye.